Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading a post from r/lose If you're new here, please tap that subscribe button below for more weight loss stories and to join our awesome community, the Narwhals. My weight loss tips. Some background, feel free to skip if you want to. During my teenage years, I was growing like crazy and therefore had a crazy metabolism. I was that guy that could drink 2 liters of Coca-Cola and eat pizza every day and still be skinny as a stick. And then adult life hit and my metabolism slowed down to a normal level. It took some time before I realized I was actually overweight after having struggled with being underweight for most of my life. But that realization was really hard, since being skinny had become such an integral part of my identity. When this realization hit, I went on a completely insane crash diet where I lost around 30 to 40 kilos. I felt like crap and my motivation mostly came from self-hate, but I did it. Yay. At least, so I thought, because of course I gained most of it back in the coming years, because I failed to realize that what I'm looking for is a lifestyle change that is sustainable for me, and not a one-time quick fix to my problems. Since then, I've been back and forth between gaining weight during my frigate, eat whatever I want periods, and weight loss periods, constantly trying to repair my relationship with food and exercise, and trying to find a path to a healthier living that works for me. I am now somewhat at a place where I have a healthier relationship with food, don't have huge cravings anymore, and actually enjoy exercising. So I picked up a few tips and tricks along the way that worked for me that I figured I could share with everyone. A small disclaimer, these are the things that have worked for me. If you feel like you 100% disagree with some of these points, that's totally fine. Everyone finds their path to a healthier living, and everyone needs to find what works best for them. 0. Start small. Start with changing one thing in your lifestyle until it becomes a habit. Remember, you're trying to build habits that should hopefully last the rest of your life. Changing too much at the same time can feel overwhelming and make you want to say frig it and go back to what you did before. Implement one change in your life for a few weeks, or as long or short as you feel is needed, until it just feels like a natural part of your life. Then find the next thing that you want to change and implement that. 1. Think about the why you're trying to lose weight. It can seem obvious. You might think, I want to lose weight because I'm overweight. But I have found, for me, thinking about how I motivate myself makes a real difference in the way I approach my weight loss. For too long, I was fueled by self-hate, standing in front of the mirror, thinking to myself, you're fat and ugly and unworthy of love. It worked for short periods of time, but is in no way a sustainable option, neither physically nor mentally. Now, instead, I try to think of it as I want to be healthier. I want to eat more nutritious food so I feel more energetic and happier. On the days where I have consumed tons of nutritious foods and exercised, I feel so good. So I try and take mental notes of that and think to myself, I want to feel this way all the time, and try to motivate myself that way. For me, in the long run, it's been much easier to stay consistent this way, trying to remind myself every day why I'm implementing these changes. 2. Cut out liquid calories. Now, I'm not saying never ever have a beer with your buddies. Of course, you should do that if the opportunity arises. But making a habit of drinking water to your meals at home or at work instead of Coca-Cola or another soda or calorie-dense liquid can go a really long way. Liquid calories aren't that satiating compared to other forms of calories, and having most, if not all, of your calories coming from non-liquid sources will make you feel fuller and will let you eat more good foods. 3. Eat more protein. I'm generally not a fan of diets that try to categorize macronutrients and calories coming from a group as a whole, and that try to paint a picture of them as 100% bad or 100% good, like some diets do, like low-carb, high-fat that tries to eliminate carbs, or low-fat diets that try to eliminate fats. There are really good carbs, fat, and proteins, and there are less good carbs, fats, and proteins. What works for me is not restricting any macronutrients, but rather just trying to eat the best of them I can get. Try to eat good carbs and good fats. However, I do try to consciously eat more protein because of mainly 3 reasons. 1. Compared to the other macronutrients, generally they have the highest satiety per calorie, meaning I feel much fuller on a high protein diet, which at least partially eliminates my cravings for other things. 2. Generally speaking, compared to the other macronutrients, the body burns more calories breaking proteins down compared to carbs and fats. 3. It helps the body to keep or even build some muscle, which brings me to my next point. 4. Don't underestimate muscle loss. During my first few periods of dieting, I used to think to myself, well, I don't have much muscle anyway, so it doesn't matter if I lose some during my weight loss. Well, let me tell you, after a long period of dieting in unhealthy ways, the body can start to do some really scary stuff. Sure, I was in no means muscular before starting, but starting to lose the few muscles I had, I felt so damn weak. It's hard to explain, but even though I was thinner, I felt heavier. Simple things like going on a walk started feeling really heavy and nauseating. And on top of that, less muscle equals lower basal metabolic rate, which means I would have to lower my calorie intake even further to continue seeing the same progress. Not setting out to try to at the very least keep the muscles I had at the start, it came back to bite me in the bum big time after a while. Especially if you feel like you don't have much muscle to begin with, you should be very wary of losing them. Don't repeat my mistakes. 5. Walking is underrated. In some circles, I've seen people not look at simply walking as a valid form of exercise. Well, I think it is. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Walking burns fat. It doesn't burn fat as fast as, say, running, but scientific research shows that proportionally walking burns a higher percentage of fat compared to breaking down muscles, which is a good thing. Just taking a 10 to 15 minute walk every day can lead to big differences in the long run, both health-wise and from a weight loss perspective. 6. Lifting weights is underrated. Well, again, muscle loss is a real thing you should be aware of. Depending on what specific diet you're on, scientific research suggests it's actually possible to even gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Google body recomposition for further info on this. More muscle equals higher basal metabolic rate. The way I see it, lifting weights isn't as much about burning calories or fat as walking is, but more of a future investment. It keeps me from losing muscle, and I might even gain some. That way, I can eat more once I start approaching my goal weight and can begin eating at maintenance again. And personally, I think it's fun, and it feels good having other goals besides just lose weight. 7. Measure your progress in more than one way. The number on the scale, while a decent approximation of fat loss progress, can be really bad if used in the wrong way. The number on the scale also measures muscle mass and water mass. Maybe you drink tons of water the day before your weekly weigh-in, which is a good thing, but the scale says that you gain weight. You might have lifted weights really intensely during the week and have gained some muscle and lost some fat. Great, but the scale says it's bad. The scale is notoriously misleading, so I would recommend having other means of measuring your progress, and maybe having other goals besides fat loss that contributes to a healthy living. For example, I have a goal that at the end of the year, I want to be able to do a pull-up, and being able to do a push-up with my chest touching the ground. And these indirectly contribute to my fat loss since it makes me more motivated to exercise. Also, in addition to weighing myself weekly, I take pictures. Actually, these last few weeks, I haven't seen much progress on the scale, but my pictures show a ton of progress. I look thinner and more muscular. 8. Don't cut out meals. Optimize them. Again, coming back to the notion that you want to build a new lifestyle that is going to last the rest of your life, not a diet that you will eventually be off. Let's look at it this way. I love tacos. I wish I could eat it every day. I can't imagine a life without tacos. Well, eating it the way I used to, with tons of cheese, creme fraiche, nuts, and in excessive amounts, is not really an option if I want to eat it every day and lose fat. So I looked at it and optimized it a bit. Slightly less of the calorie-dense stuff, slightly more veggies, slightly smaller portion sizes. Added some beans and some other stuff that is nutrition-dense and makes me feel full, and voila, this is now what I eat almost every day. Honestly, it's not less satisfying than how I used to eat it before, just a different kind of satisfying. The bottom line is this. Of course, you don't want to live the rest of your life without your favorite foods. Who does? Find a way to fit it into your current meal plan. If it's a really calorie-dense food, it can still fit, just in smaller portion sizes. It can always be done in some way. 9. Don't undereat. It might feel a bit counterintuitive at first. If you eat less, it means more weight loss, right? Well, it's not that simple. After some point, if you decrease your calories more, the resulting weight loss will not be proportional to the larger calorie deficiency you put yourself in. Instead, the body will start to lower the energy requirements and shut down what it deems to be non-essential features in your body. You will lose slightly more weight, sure, but you will feel like crap, and your body will start screaming at you to eat something, which will make it harder for you to stick to your plan. On top of that, it will ruin your metabolism in the long run. There are scientific papers that suggest that this metabolic adaptation can last up to 7 years in some extreme cases. So, if you want to be able to eat normally once you've reached your goal, your best bet is to simply lose weight at a healthy, steady pace. I'd say generally not more than 1 kilo or 2 pounds per week. It will take longer, but it sets you up for success in the long run. 10. Yes, you can. To anyone reading this, no matter what your experiences or background are, if you're hesitating if you actually can achieve your goals, then the answer is yes. Some people have medical conditions which will stop them from progressing the same way others can, and that's okay. Everyone has their own journey and needs to find their own path towards their goals, and everyone's path is valid. What works for you, works for you. This list is just a bunch of things that work for me. They might not work for you. They might work wonderfully for you. Sometimes life might feel unfair for you. You might have come from a home that didn't promote healthy eating habits. You might have tried and failed numerous times to do changes to your life. You might feel like the change that you want to make just can't be done, and that's okay. Just realize that you have control over your own life. You have the power to do the changes you want to make. Anyone want to stop you? Freak them. Your health is always the most important thing, and it's solely in your hands to treat your body the way you want to. And that brings us to the featured narwhals of the day from our Reddit community. To join our Reddit community, just open the description below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more weight loss stories, and to join our friendly community, the Narwhals. Hyper June says, progress, male 21, 5'4". This past week, I've been demotivated to work out and eat healthy, and what I like to do to stay on track is trying back my clothes and making a comparison photo, and I know I've been this far and will never quit this journey. Chub Cheek says, just hit my first big goal, down 52 pounds total. Female 19, 5'3", starting weight 230 pounds, current weight 178. I mean, do I even look like the same person? It's crazy. I decided to change my life in January of 2020, and I have never looked back. My original goal weight was 160, but once I hit that, I'm going to try to get to 135. I am so proud. Lexi Pencil says, female, 5'7", starting weight 200 pounds, current weight 179, goal weight 140. Finally did it, everyone. I got to the 170s. I'm so happy. And thanks for sharing, featured narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more weight loss stories and to join our friendly community, the Narwhals. And thanks for watching, narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.